Welcome to Guzzler.
Hello, welcome to Guzzler Extra. This is our sort of an extension of the episode we recorded. Well, we've recorded it literally 10 minutes ago, but we released on Wednesday.
Yes.
They're frozen, but this is going to be a really good intro. So
I'm still here.
Dex here.
Am I not here?
We're going to talk about
I'm not here.
The Room.
I'm not here. Deck, can you hear me?
No. No. Battlefield's. Oh, Battlefield frozen, then you sitting well
am I back?
I saw you laugh.
I can hear you both.
Oh, what an awful
I was just introing.
Guzzler Extra.
Right. The Room. You watched it, boys?
It's fantastic.
I won't lie to you, I did watch some of it on 1.5
Still
times speed.
Still better than Star Wars. No, you didn't.
I did, on YouTube. Just put it on 1.5.
It's absolutely
Bish
fantastic.
bash bosh.
This is known as the bad film, isn't it? This is a definition of a bad film.
It's been described as the Citizen Kane of bad cinema.
Ooh.
Which is a piercing insult.
I went through scene by scene. I wrote notes. One thing that I love from the very, very start of this film is that it says Wiseau, because made by Tommy Wiseau. Wiseau Studios. I'm sure he only made one film.
I think he's one of those people who constantly talks about projects he's got coming up or things he's working on.
Right.
He loves to do that, but then he never really does anything. So The Room was originally written as a play,
right,
in 2001, but
It should have stayed that way.
yeah, but he didn't. Obviously,
So
no
I
one
don't have to see
picked
it.
up on it or whatever. So then he adapted it into a book, a 500-page book, because obviously a lot happens in this film. Famously, not. But no one wanted to do that, so then he ended up adapting it into a film, which is weird. The budget of the film... Do you know the budget of this film?
I don't know.
Declan?
No.
Have a guess. Have a guess how much you think this film cost.
It should cost about 50 quid.
On what it turned out like, yeah.
It cost...
I'm going to say $5,000.
It cost $6 million.
How?
Which,
What?
when adjusted for inflation's 8.5 million of today's money. Now, people always say to him, like, where did you...
I could make $1 billion out of 8.5 mil.
People always say to him, like, where on earth did you get $8.5 million to make this film? And he's never quite said, but he has said that quite a lot of the money
Drugs.
came from importing leather jackets from Korea.
How many leather jackets did he import?
Millions, I imagine. Yeah. So apparently the reason the film cost so much money was because, as you may have noticed,
Tits.
Tommy is not a very competent man.
Yes.
So apparently he replaced the entire cast and crew 4 times.
Right.
He just kept firing everyone constantly. Lisa was meant to play a different character, and she was like the 5th person that started playing the role before she eventually ended up as Lisa. He then stated that he built loads of sets for sequences for absolutely no reason. They had a location, and he
Yeah,
was
I
like,
did
"Now
hear
we're gonna build a set." So they built sets, but they had no reason to build a set whatsoever. And everyone kept saying to him, "Why are you building a set? We literally have somewhere we could go and do it." He forgot his lines and places all the time. I've seen Disaster Artist, and it happened all the time. Sometimes literally a few lines of dialogue would take hours or days. And then he also did a thing, before we talk about the film, this is the last thing. He brought a complete beginning director package, which had 2 films and HD cameras. And he didn't understand the difference between 35mm film and high definition film. He didn't get it. Everyone kept explaining to him, but he didn't understand it. So he decided he was going to be the first director ever to simultaneously film it in both 35mm and high definition. He custom built a camera. He built an entire apparatus so that he could do this, and he hired 2 separate crews so that he could do this. And then they never used the They never used the HD footage. They only used the 35mm footage. No one even knows what happens to the HD footage. That's why it cost $6 million.
That's insane.
He's got it. He's got the HD footage. That's the actual good
There's
film.
so many characters in this film who I just
Yeah.
don't know what their point is in this film.
Oh, not at all.
At one
not
point,
at all.
this couple break into his house, have sex on a sofa, and then leave.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy who comes back for
Yeah,
his
him.
underwear.
That guy, he told Tommy that he had a limit. He had a few days he could film.
Right.
He was like, I can only do this. And Tommy just kept putting off his scenes, and then he just had to leave.
Wow.
So he was meant to be in the film a lot more. But he said to Tommy, look, I only have these days, and they just never filmed his scenes, and he went home.
The other bloke, the main bloke, apart from Tommy, who's called Johnny. The other bloke, I can't remember what his name is. The other bloke, but he met him, didn't he? In like
Mark.
Mark, yeah, he met him, and
Because
said,
he goes, hi, Mark.
"Hi, Mark." Oh,
Yeah,
hi,
yeah.
Mark. He says, "Oh," first. They met each other, and then they said they was going to make this film. The thing I picked up, the first words of the film, "Hi, babe," is the first words of the film.
He says hi so many times.
But not just hi, does he? It's "oh hi," like he's really surprised.
Yeah, all the time.
Oh hi.
Oh, hi. He does his little laugh constantly.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bit where his friend tells him a really sad story on the roof,
Yes.
and Tommy he just like pisses himself laughing.
Yeah.
Apparently, the entire cast sat him down and said, "Look, he's just told you you cannot laugh at this scene," and then Tommy was just like, "That's how I'm doing it," and he just refused to not laugh.
So if the first 3 minutes it feels like I'm watching a 70s porno with one of the Hollywood vampires.
Massively so.
And then Tommy says, "I've written down some funny lines." He goes, "Wow, you look so sexy, Lisa. I would do anything for my girl." "Oh, hi, Lenny." And he says it just like that. And that's it. And then also at 3 minutes 45, I realised that everything Tommy's going to say is ridiculous.
So apparently,
Yeah.
the entire cast kept insisting that they kept saying to Tommy, "Look, can we ad-lib around this?" And Tommy just kept saying, "No, you have to read the script verbatim. I will not allow any ad-libbing whatsoever."
He made this film, didn't he, with the expectation this was going to be like an Oscar-winning film, didn't he?
But I imagine so.
Yeah. There's a sex scene, and after the sex scene, when they wake up in the morning, there's just loads of roses in the bed. And I'm why have you just got all these like really roses with all these thorns on them, just laying in the bed? Sexy.
Right, hang on. In this, right, he's in bed,
Yeah.
right, he smells the rose while he's still on the bed, and then puts the rose on the pillow.
Yeah.
What's the
No
point?
idea. And then
The roses were already in a vase on the
Yeah.
bedside table.
He just wanted to enjoy it.
On the bedside
and then
table.
this kid turns up.
Some wet rose.
Denny, what?
Denny.
What? Who is? He just
No idea.
appears.
He turns up, follows him upstairs. Tommy says, "Do you have anything better to do?" And Denny says, "I just like watching you guys."
Yeah, that was weird. And then it turns out he had homework.
Yeah. I don't think Lisa's actually that bad at acting, but I think that, well, compared to the rest of them, she looks absolutely phenomenal. And apparently, after the first sex scene, Tommy Wiseau was like, "This is
It's
great."
only because she showed her
What?
boobs. It's only because she showed her
You didn't
boobs.
see her boobs. I didn't see her boobs in the YouTube version. But like he apparently was like, "This sex scene was great. We can do another one." And she was like, "No, I'm not." So then he had to. They just used footage that they didn't use from the first sex scene in the second one.
You can tell.
I haven't seen it, so yeah.
Yeah. So another note on the script is that apparently a lot of it was cut. The original script is really, really long, but apparently massive chunks of it were literally incomprehensible. And a cast member anonymously has said, "We understand why you can't believe there was worse stuff, but trust us, there was."
Wow.
Can we try and get our hands on a script
Perform
and remake it just between us three, Mason and Niall?
I spent the whole film
Lovely.
thinking you could make this so much better, even with the same dialogue. You know the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's like all the oldie time dialogue,
Yeah.
but they just say it.
The one you always watch at GCSE.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. It'd be like we do The Room with that, where we use the same dialogue, but we actually make it a film.
Yeah. I agree. We should try that, Declan.
Let's do it.
Yeah, fun.
When as June 21st hits, when we're all pissed in spoons, we'll
Alright,
start
yeah.
it.
Other thing I took, that Tommy sounds like he's a character in a game. He sounds like I'm pressing like A on his like dialogue. It just sounds like he is in a game
All the time, yeah.
It feels like I'm watching a film that should come on Channel 5 at like 5 o'clock on like a Tuesday night.
Have you watched like the misheard dubbings? So
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you know when someone edits over an audio, and makes it sound stupid. That's what I was fully convinced. I was convinced that this was a joke thing, and that someone had voiced over this film because it's
one of the worst scenes I want to talk about in just a second. But one of my favourite characters is her mum.
She's mental.
She's like a devil on the shoulder. One thing she says, the first time we meet her, Lisa says, "I don't love him." And her mum says, "You can't support yourself by yourself. You do love him, and you've known him for 5 years. He cares a lot about money. I've always thought of him as my son-in-law." Well, he basically is. If you've been together 5 years, call him your son-in-law.
Yeah.
Hang on. Not once did he say he cared about money.
No. The only reason that could ever fathom in my mind is that every single shop he goes in, everyone knows him by name.
Yeah.
Every shop.
You're my favourite customer.
That's the thing.
And the funniest thing is, when he was doing this, he got rejected from the
promotion
when you get upgraded. That's him. And then you don't see him at work the rest of the film.
No.
Did he quit?
Did you know that he was meant to be a vampire?
I read before that he was meant to be a vampire. He said that.
It's not right.
He did say that he wanted this to be a vampire, and I have read before that at the end he wanted like a car to like fly away at the end, but they was like, you can't do it. And you'd think on 6.9 million you'd be able to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would, mate. Yeah, 100%.
The best scene is the flower shop scene.
It's mental, right?
Yeah. When he goes in, everyone's talking over each other. They're in different conversations. Right. He says, "Hi, doggy." She says, "You're my favourite customer." And he goes, "Bye," and then.
Do you know what the funniest thing about this scene was for me? I was in the middle of a human resources lecture when I was watching this, right? Because the lecture got boring, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to spice up my life. So I don't have a TV in my flat. You boys know, no one else does. Well, other people do, but not the viewers. All one of them.
Projector.
But I do have a projector. So that was on the wall, and I had the lecture going on where you are, just taking notes. I was listening to it kind of on and off in the background. That's why I don't know a lot about the film.
I don't even blame you. I can't even be annoyed at you. Understandable.
Only stupid. I keep kicking over my wine. Only stupid bits that I actually overheard when he started shouting. Kicked it over again. Yeah, and that was this part, right? But I had the conversation of the lecture and the lecturer talking to someone on the Google Meet, and then all 6 conversations that were going on in the film on the wall.
I thought I had it on fast forward.
Mate!
Like,
I felt like I was getting kicked in the head and people were screaming at me.
After this scene, Tommy's like drinking with Lisa, and he says, "I don't drink." Then she proceeds to give him like a glass of vodka and whiskey, and then he gets that smashed that he's just chucking glasses on the floor, just smashing the place up.
The thing that confused me about it was like, she seemed to think she had to persuade him to get drunk to then later tell everyone he got drunk. But then she also told everyone that he hit her, so she could have just lied about it. There was no need to actually get him drunk.
No,
it didn't matter.
And then these all add to why this is the worst film I've made. But then the next scene, she meets her mum. She just straight out goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm dying. I've got cancer." And then Lisa's like, "Oh, he hit me." I mean, she's like a Kubrick character at this point. She's Stephen King worthy. Like she's got depth. And then does she say to Tom, or someone says to Tommy that you've hit your wife or your girlfriend? Yeah. And then he goes upstairs, which is the scene you saw earlier, where he's upset talking on the rooftop, and he walks out onto the rooftop and goes. This is where he goes, "I did not hit her. I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark. It's not true. Don't even ask what's up."
It's one of the most famous things of all time. Yeah,
and he's looking almost at the character as he goes, "Oh, hi, Mark."
It just makes
no
sense.
We need to get a top printed called "Oh Hi."
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. And then
after storing a cool duck place, it's "Oh hi."
Someone else just pulls a gun out on Denny on the roof.
That scene is mental because there's no follow up to that at all.
And he's holding him over the roof.
And there's no like pretext to that either.
No,
the thing is,
we don't know that he's doing drugs.
The
Bam.
I knew that the film ended with spoilers. Johnny like bleeding out, right?
Okay, right.
I knew that was the last shot because I've seen that, but I didn't know anything about the story. And I was like, oh, the drug thing's gonna like come to fruition probably, and then like maybe Johnny. No, the drug thing never comes up again.
No, that doesn't. And then when Johnny goes to talk to him on the roof, he puts his arm around her after he's been crying, and it's like the scene from the end of Homeward Bound. He goes, "Come on, let's go home," and they walk down a flight of stairs and home. Like, let's go home. Let's just go downstairs, mate. Like, we'll be safe down there. Yeah, it's just, and then I've written down a lot of dialogue. But he also says to Mark, "I'm so lucky to have you as my best friend, and I love my girlfriend." What?
There's a thing where it says that like every single character in some point in the film talks about how attractive Lisa is, even a character that's their only line of dialogue.
yeah.
And it's just, what? It just makes no sense.
No. And then
I wouldn't, though, if I'm being honest.
There's a bit where when Lisa rings up Mark and she's trying to be all like sexy and seductive, and he's just sat in a car in traffic, and he goes, "I can't talk, I'm really busy." You're sat in a car in traffic.
Yeah.
How are you busy?
Yeah, but to be fair, if I was gonna like sext with someone over the phone, I wouldn't do it in a traffic jam.
No.
Well, yeah, there is that, but
I wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, I'm touching my." Yeah, I'm in traffic, love. I'll call you back later. I'd say I'm busy.
There's
Yeah,
the other scene where they're playing football in the street, which isn't really a street; it's a set, and they're all. Oh, that's just such a weird scene.
Apparently that scene wasn't in the film at all, right?
Right.
They all had the script. They were all filming. The football thing didn't exist. You know when they're all in like a suit and tie and they all throw football or whatever. That was nothing to do with the film. Tommy just turned up one day and said, "Look, we have to add this film. We have to add this scene. We have to add this scene." So apparently they cut loads of stuff that was incredibly important. It was probably like the drug thing, like so many subplots that needed resolving. They cut because Tommy insisted they had to do that scene, but he never told anyone why. He just said this scene has to be in the film, and then they just did it.
And the thing with the suits as well, Tommy's facing the front like he's on stage, and then one by one, 4 people walk into his house in suits. I thought it was his wedding day. Turns out it wasn't. Just walk into his house, and they all come one by one. Like they didn't see them walking to Tommy's house and was like, "Oh, mate, wait up." They all walked one by one in. It literally, it went like this. I've written down the words. It goes, "Oh, hi, Mark." They do some weird chicken noises. and then, oh yeah, I haven't actually written anymore. But it's just like that, isn't it? It's, oh yeah, oh hi, Danny, and oh hey, Peter. What? What are we talking about?
So strange. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the chicken noise thing. It's weird. I've written down several times over the next couple of bullet points. It's just this man has to be the worst actor ever in the world.
Oh, yeah, he's awful. He's absolutely awful.
If we get an audioless version of this, can we dub over it?
I'll tell you, well, yeah.
Let's redo
Johnny's
the film.
got a psychologist friend.
But
I don't believe he has a psychologist friend.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Right, this is what pissed me off. The psychologist friend just looked like Freud. He wasn't a psychologist. He just looked like Freud. And for one, actually, it's not for one, it's for two. Freud wasn't a good psychologist.
No, he wasn't. He couldn't help Johnny in any way. No.
They just looks like they got someone in a turtleneck and round glasses. They look like Harry Potter in a jumper. And went, yeah, you know about the brain. Good luck.
And then when Lisa's sleeping with his mate, and then when there's a knock at the door, and they go, "Oh, quick, we'll get dressed." She gets dressed. He's still topless and got his flies undone, and she goes, "Come in."
She opens the door.
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird, and it makes no sense. But like Lisa in this film, the whole film is Lisa going to different people and saying, "Oh, I just really don't know what to do." And then they'll say, "Oh, tell Tommy, be honest." And she'll go, "No, screw you, I'm going to do what I want to do." Why are you asking? She does that throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
She just constantly says to people,
Johnny?
"I really don't know what to do, I'm in a really tricky place." And they give her advice and she goes, "Nah, mate, no way."
No.
Until he kills himself. Spoilers.
Oh yeah, and then all of a sudden she's upset.
Yeah. When we get towards the end of the film, when it's his birthday and there's a party, Johnny says,
Oh, here we
"Thank
go.
you for this party, Lisa. You invited all of my friends. Really good thinking." Well, it'd be weird if, you know... What do you mean, she invited my friends? Really good thinking. Yeah.
I thought that as well.
What an idiot.
I can imagine the day I turn up to a party that you've made and no one knows that.
Just random people. It's just
I'm
people
really
meet
looking forward to it.
everyone that me and Louis know that you don't know.
Yeah.
is who we
Exactly,
invite.
yeah. All
And
the people that you mentioned that I haven't got a clue exist.
And then her mum again says she should stay with Johnny because she hasn't been happy since her first marriage, and marriage isn't about love. Great moral. As we said
That
in our
was
last
a weird
video,
thought.
morals. This is what you learn from these films. This is why they're
Morals. You need morals.
good. And then you're at the party, and she just does more of his friend Mark in front of. She just kicks everyone outside. Go up to the roof, everyone, so I can get it on with Mark.
Yeah. What was she doing there? She was just like, we should all go outside, and then she was like, and then when something bad happened again, she was like, we should all go in for cake.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
it's
Yeah. And then when they announce on the rooftop, Mark just
Right, hang on.
go on.
No, you finish your point.
So
and then
on the
I wanna
rooftop,
say
Tommy just goes, "Thanks everyone for coming. Oh, and by the way, we're expecting." And everyone comes up to Tommy and it's like, "Oh, congratulations!" No one goes up to Lisa and goes, "No way!" And she just stands there. She's like,
This is the other thing. She spends the whole film saying to people, what should I do? She lies to him about having a baby. Who told her? No one told her. What are you doing?
"Yeah."
They're like, oh, so how long have you
Right.
been pregnant? And she's like, oh, no, I'm not actually pregnant. I just thought it'd be fun. And then she was like, oh, we're probably going to have a baby one day, so I might as well just tell. That's not how that works.
You've been pregnant for 3 years, Lisa.
Yeah, I'm already a dad.
Which she's expecting to be expecting, so it's okay.
And also, when he kills himself at the end, he still thinks he's going to be a dad.
That's a good
I'm
point.
more single than I've ever been, but I'm going to be a dad, so you may as well start calling me daddy. Right, I want to briefly talk about the point in which you know the guy who she's cheating on
Mark.
him with,
Yeah.
Mark. He tells someone else, and they have a fight on the roof,
Yeah.
and he nearly throws him off the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, hang on. The roof has a wall
Yeah.
that's probably, let's say,
3 foot
3-4
high, yeah.
feet high. Right? So the bloke bends him over the wall and kind of shuffles back and forth as to say, I'm going to throw you over. Oh. But that's it. Right? He just bends him over the wall.
Yeah.
And then the guy is panting for at least the next minute.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never been... Actually, no. To be fair, I'm not going to finish that sentence.
You never been bent
the wall
over?
and not panted. And not panted, yeah. Why would you, like... If I was on a roof and someone went, ooh, and bent me over a wall just to look down and knowing that I'm perfectly safe, why would you go...
Yeah.
It's almost like this film doesn't make sense.
Oh,
Oh, hi,
I
Declan.
know, you know what, Alfie? I think you've solved it. The film doesn't make sense.
This bit is
Mental.
my favourite, honestly, my favourite bit. It's where he goes downstairs and Lisa is cuddling and dancing with Mark, like really like seductively, like over the top seductively.
They do that after the first fight.
Oh yeah, they fight first. Yeah.
They have a fight.
They fight.
And then they shake hands and they're like, oh, let's leave it. And
That's
then they
it.
dance seductively.
Yes.
How could you do that and not be like, oh, there won't be a second fight. He'll just, we've had our
That's
fight
it,
now.
yeah.
We can do what we want.
They fight.
I might as well bang her on the floor. We've had our fight. All's good.
That's it. They fight. Mark. Then Johnny says, "Okay, fight over. I'm sorry, Mark." Then they shake hands, and then he goes downstairs and they're seductively dancing and they're looking into each other's eyes, and just in front of everyone. And then when he says, "Lisa, what are you doing?" she says, "None of your business." And then Mark says, "She doesn't want to talk to you." And Lisa says, "We're just having fun." And I thought at this point, this must be like a dream or a nightmare or like a part of his imagination. Because there's no way this would happen after the scene that's just come before it. And then Johnny just does some more chicken noises. This is on his This is on his birthday as well. Like, this is a fantastic birthday he's having. And then they fight again for no. They shouldn't have broke up the last fight. And he locks himself in the bathroom. And then she rings Mark again when he's gone home, just outside the bathroom door, just slagging Johnny off, what she's going to do and stuff, while he's in the door behind her.
Wow.
And then we get to the final scene in which Dex said earlier in the week, OMG, the final scene's fantastic. And I watched it and I was like, that's made it for me.
It's awful.
Which is where he...
Oh, it's the best part of the film.
Pops a bullet in
Terrible
the back of
ending.
his neck.
It's... Yeah, right.
The only thing I was happy about was Lisa didn't get a happy ending.
Yeah, when Mark decided that he didn't want her either.
I liked that.
Yeah. Also, while there's loads of police sirens going off, and then suddenly the police sirens just stop.
Yeah.
And I watched to the very end of the credits. Middle of the end credits, it just fades to black. The credits are still rolling. There's still names on the screen. It just fades to black.
Wait, how does that work? Do you not just see white words?
The words are still on screen. It just goes... usually they just roll past, then it's just a black screen. They were all on screen.
Yeah.
All right. This was... Well, go on. If it rate out of 10.
Can I just briefly talk about the end?
Yeah.
Because, right, I'm going to go on a bit of a talk here, monologue. I had to watch this film in half-an-hour segments because it was that bad.
Yeah.
Right? It was that monumentally awful, I would switch off after about 28 minutes.
Yeah.
28 minutes, yeah. Go on.
What's the matter with
The
you?
beer fell off my lap.
Popped
and
his
then
cherry.
then I pinged it back up and it all made a massive wave.
This is an hour and a half long.
Well, it's an hour and 40
And then-
sex scenes.
And then, right, the ending happens.
Yeah. That is
And
how it works.
I'm not condoning suicide, right? And you can cut all this out if you like.
No, it depends what you say
But-
next.
Yeah.
When
At the moment,
acting
you've just not condoned
is-
suicide, Dave. I have no need to cut it yet.
when acting is this bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A character offing himself after the shit that he's just put me through feels like justice, right? So the last, like, let's say minute of the film is the only bit of the film worth my attention.
Well, I agree, but like Tommy Wiseau says that this film is now famous for being bad. That he says it was always meant to be bad. It wasn't meant to be a good film.
He says it's a dark comedy.
That's it. And there's midnight releases of this film that can often, especially in America, where people will go and apparently they throw plastic forks at the TV because they've got a plastic fork picture, like a painting in the living room, and they just throw footballs around the cinema. And people watch it at like midnight, and Tommy Wiseau often goes to them and just like does a Q&A at the end of the screening because like,
but
it's a mad film.
isn't that like the 12-year-old tactic when something goes wrong? They just go,
Oh yeah,
"Yeah, I was meant
100%.
to
This
do
was
that."
this was
You
yeah,
fall
massive,
over
yeah.
square in the middle of the cafeteria, like on your face, your nose
Yeah.
is bleeding. I was trying to make red.
Yeah,
happen.
this was definitely just he tried this to be good and it was absolutely awful. However, I wouldn't watch it at home alone again. I wouldn't watch this just by myself. But I would go to a cinema with a lot of people and watch this film
Yeah, I would. 100%.
because it is, no matter how awful it is funny. Because it is awful.
Is
because
it?
it is awful. There are so many scenes.
Right.
It's just, the
If
dialogue
we
is
go,
awful.
Can we get drunk?
Sorry.
If we go, can we
Fine.
get drunk?
The,
Then I'll go.
And this goes back to our
Let's
last
do it.
video that came out on Wednesday about what makes a good film. The script. The script is what makes a good film.
Script.
Because the characters in this film, genuinely, they're fine. They're fine. But the script.
No, I disagree. I think the characters are also dog shit.
I don't know, Lisa's got some depth.
I mean, I think
her mum is
everything's
an absolute
bad.
wench. Like,
Do you think that it's so hard trying to be bad that it's actually good? You know, we talked about where films are so trying hard to be good that they can't.
No, but I don't think it's trying to be bad. I think it's trying to be good more than any other film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people put a lot of effort into this. They were just
You think?
so incompetent, like so
Right,
dramatically
towards the end of the
incompetent.
film, I feel like they'd so given up on this film. I've never seen anything like it. If I was to record, produce, and direct my own film, I think I still could have made it better than this, and there would have been
That's what
full
Tommy
frontal
did.
nudity
So
in it.
one of the famous reviews for this film says it looks like it's been produced by an alien who has never seen a film before.
Yeah.
They've just been sat down and told everything about film.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the difference is between if I did it and him is I'd do it all in selfie mode.
Right?
And
That's the
I reckon
difference.
I could still make it better.
No, I agree with you, Declan, that if we can get hold of a script, then we should try and act out this film.
I think we could do it great.
All 1 hour and a half
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
Including
Including the
the
sex
full-
scenes.
Exactly.
Which he just has sex
There's
with
no
us
dialogue.
as well.
Mason's got the tits.
He does like
for
a
it.
belly
He
button.
just
I mean,
like he just like grinds her stomach. It's really weird.
exactly, and I've already done it with Mason. So, and he's got the tits. So let's just get him on. Let's get him topless, shave him, and
Well,
then.
let's remember also that Alfie is writing a letter as well to our
Oh,
town council to ask if we
oh.
can fly a flag of this bear
I
charity.
need to do that.
Yeah.
I do need to do that. So my last thing to add is that in order to promote this film, Tommy paid for a billboard in Hollywood, like right in the centre, slap bang in the middle of Hollywood, and he called it the Evil Man Billboard because apparently, like, people thought it was a horror film because there's a really like creepy. I haven't even seen the billboard, but apparently it's a really weird picture of him in the billboard. Now, he had this billboard up for 5 years at a cost of $5,000 per month. People said to him, basically everyone constantly says to him, "How can you afford?" No one knows where he gets his money
Yeah.
from. No one understands because you've seen how incompetent this man is. How is he making money? So people said to him,
It isn't only.
"How are
fans.
you affording to pay for it?" And his answer was, "Well, we like the location and we like the billboard."
Oh, excellent. But then the Disasterized.
Well, there's a will, there's a
Disasterized,
There
way.
you go,
which
top
was
done.
actually nominated for an Oscar, used that billboard as well, didn't they, to advertise the Disasterized, which is about making this film.
Yeah.
When I saw an interview of him and James Franco, who played him in Disasterized, on Jimmy Fallon, he came out like this character. He was dressed like Russell Brand in his like bad stage. He was like this David Brent character that like he wanted to be loved, and he was trying to act young and wearing lots of belts, wearing what I wear now, and it was like he was trying to like he was like a vampire. He was trying to like
And your style's as
Yeah.
bad as it comes.
he was trying to capture being young again. And it was just so weird that he just wanted to be loved and wanted to be famous. That's what he wanted. He wanted to be this massive Hollywood man, and he became it, but just for all the wrong reasons.
But like, if I had £6 million to spend on a film, I think I could make something. Get me a bit more fame. Yeah, we could make something nice.
Yeah,
The Guzzler Boys.
yeah, we could.
What was that film called? Anvil.
Anvil. We can make Krampus too for
not
that.
again.
Krampus 2.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's get Danny DeVito and just put him in a film.
No, I think we should remake The Room.
Just put him in it.
Why is it called The Room?
I can't find it. Right.
Oh, yes.
Hang on. I want to go on a tangent about Danny DeVito.
Hang on. Wait, why is it called The Room?
So, Tommy says, and again, this feels like a retrospective thing. He says that it's because because a room is a place where bad or good things can happen. That is his answer. But the actual reason, I believe, is because originally the play that he wrote took place in a single room. It was set in one room. But now he says it's because a room is a place where bad and good things can happen, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Can I talk about Danny DeVito now?
Why do you want to talk about Danny DeVito?
Because I do. This is a podcast. We talk.
Go on,
about
then. No, I'm not
you
stopping you. I was
stumped
just
us there.
curious.
I can't find a fault with the bloke.
Oh, good. Were you looking?
He's like me, but less sexy.
There's that the only difference.
No.
Like you, but less sexy.
Exactly.
I'd
yeah.
argue he's got more sex appeal.
I don't think he does.
Fine.
I don't know.
The only difference
Yeah.
between me and Danny DeVito
Yeah.
is that he doesn't have abs, and I'm not 4'8".
I mean, he's a good actor as well.
So am I.
Are
We'll
you?
find
I've
out.
never seen you
We'll
act.
find out.
I've pretended to be funny
So,
for 21
Deck
years.
manages to take the dialogue of the room and make it worse. No one knows how. No one can understand.
No, I reckon I could do. I reckon I can perform.
But
some
isn't the
magic
problem
on it.
with the room the dialogue? If we take this script, I don't know if we can make it better. If in the script
Nah,
it
you
says,
can.
"Oh hi Mark," I don't know how I'm going to make that sound good.
Oh, hi, Mark.
That's
immediately better.
You sound like Tommy Wiseau.
Oh,
But
hi, Mark. No, you can
Um,
do it. You can do it.
Oh.
Hi,
Mark.
You might want to cut this
Okay,
bit
cool.
out.
Right.
I don't want to talk about the room for a sec.
Should we?
Right.
Should we
But
finish this first?
I think
Oh, hi, Mark.
no. I feel like it should be on the
Okay.
podcast. This isn't to do with films. This is about June 21st.
Go on.
All right.
Right. Or actually, probably May 17th.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, when we can record again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just excited.
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yes. That was us where we
Anyone else
watched
has to say about the room?
the room. No.
Nice. Cool.
Wait. No. Go on.
We watched the room. That was us watching the room. And soon, but to talk about good films quickly, we're watching all of the Disney films. And that's a series going to come out very soon. The series hasn't got a name yet. But
Good.
It will,
I don't think the series is going to have a name, to be honest.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And then
Cool.
it'll probably be Disney time in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
And there'll be less extra
When
videos of us
when
talking
Alfie
about other things
finishes
then.
doing his magic.
There'll be less extra films of us talking about other things. It'll be that and ranking videos, really. But yeah, there we go.
And I feel like we should get a question in soon.
Yes.
We probably should actually before the Disney
Yeah.
stuff starts. Right. Anyway,
A
this is
15
just
minutes.
conversation now. So, thanks for listening to this Guzzler Extra video. Go watch The Room or not. I don't care. Probably don't actually. And we'll see you again next week.
Thanks, guys. Lots of love.
Thank you for listening to this Guzzler podcast.